Hey everybody, how's it going? Hey, Miles here from Miles with Boy Photography. Just really excited to talk to you guys a little bit today about the new preset pack that we are releasing right alongside G Presets, helped designed by Greg Peterson himself from G Presets, as well as my buddy and partner, Jared Fincher. Today we're going to be looking into the Abide pack, and specifically the very first preset that comes with the Abide pack. It is called just Essential. And the reason it's called Essential is simply because this is the preset that everything else was built upon. We're gonna dive in pretty quick. We're actually gonna edit 10 photos together today. I felt like it was important for us to do a variety of colors and looks and feels, lighting scenarios and situations. And then to wrap that up, we're gonna talk a little bit about sort of the thought process behind designing this preset pack, all the work that went into it, and why we genuinely feel it is one of the most powerful preset packs ever released. And so we're gonna get into that here in just a second. But first, if you'll look over at the screen, you'll see that I have just a Lightroom catalog pulled up of images that I've taken from literally all over the country, different cameras, different lighting scenarios, and I've gone ahead and flagged, like I said, 10 of them. And so we're gonna go directly into these right off the bat and just sort of look and see what is hiding inside the color of these presets. And so let's get after it, okay? So first things first, I'm actually going to select all, and I'm going to just reset everything because I wanna make sure that we are starting from just like a nice, clean space for you guys to be able to see everything. So no edits on anything. All of these images are straight out of camera. A lot of these cameras were shot, you know what, that's a TIFF file, and so it's not resetting. So we're gonna unflag that one. So we're gonna do 9 photos today, okay? Don't hate me for that, YouTube. Anyway, so all of these cameras, or most of these photos, I'm sorry, were shot with either the Fujifilm GFX system or the Fujifilm X system. Now, no surprises there because obviously, I am a Fujifilm X photographer, and so these are the cameras that I use personally. That being said, we have tested these color presets and the black and white presets across Nikon, Canon, Sony, and Leica files, and they're all remarkably consistent. We worked really hard for months and months to make sure that we were approaching every sensor uniquely. So we're gonna dive right in here. A few things that you'll be able to see as you jump around from camera to camera. I'm doing this so that you guys can see like full transparency. There's nothing happening behind the scenes that you guys don't get to see in this video. So I'm using a Loop Deck Live. If you see me sort of doing some tweaking and looking like a DJ over here, it's because I'm adjusting highlights, contrast, exposure, stuff like that with the Loop Deck Live. And then aside from that, we're just sitting in my office here in Bentonville, Arkansas. Yeah, no big production here, just actually me doing the actual work. So, all right, we're gonna take this image. This image was taken in Southern California, just outside of Palm Springs. And we're gonna apply, as I mentioned, we're gonna apply just this MWB Essential preset to it, okay? That's all we're doing for now, all right? And so we're gonna look back and forth a little bit and let you sort of see it, but this is that laid directly on top. And then here's how we're gonna edit this thing, okay? All we're gonna do across basically every scenario is we're then going to dial up or down how intense we want this preset to feel. Now, the idea here is that these presets are pretty subtle, and so this slider isn't gonna show you a whole lot, but I'll tell you in general, I really like around the 140 mark, but that's just for me and my eye. And then we're going to start to adjust a few things. So I'm going to adjust the horizon just a little bit because I'm kind of a nut about a nice straight horizon. And then I'm going to, as I mentioned before, just sort of adjust and tweak the predominantly the exposure, highlights, and contrast. Once I get that pretty much how I like it, which this is really dang close, I'm gonna jump over into the AI tools, all right? And so for this specific image, I'm actually going to lay on the background crusher full. And what that's gonna do is it's actually gonna mask off my subject, and it's gonna compress and really sort of drop the light all the way throughout the background. I'm also gonna do a calm orange skin here because I feel like she looks a little jaundicey. And then what's interesting is after I do that, I'm gonna lay the Smart Warmer back on. And the Smart Warmer is just sort of a complex way of adding sort of depth and warmth to an image without making everything feel like yucky, yellow, and that kind of weird, gross tone that you see in a lot of presets. Okay, and then last thing I'm gonna do, just because I want that background to feel as soft as possible, this was shot on a medium format camera, and so the fall off is nice and gentle as I'm gonna lay this background softener over it. And then as we jump over here, I'm gonna show you a before and after. So I'm gonna reset everything here and then reapply it. And you'll notice it's a subtle shift. And the beautiful thing about this preset pack, you guys, is that, that we really designed these to be an accent, to really pull out the organic color and the organic quality of the file that you already shoot. And so for a lot of like early sort of new photographers, this might actually not be the set for you. Now hear me out when I say that. I'm not trying to talk you out of buying these, but what I'm saying is that until you sort of develop a general understanding of what the dynamic range in your camera can do, you know, this Abide preset pack may actually frustrate you a little bit. But what I'm gonna hope to get across in this video is that just this essential preset, just this single first preset, is the most powerful preset that we think has ever been made, simply because the recipe stacks so well with this AI toolkit that we developed. So let's jump over. So we're moving all the way from Southern California into Centerton, Arkansas, which is just up the road from me. Big green ivy wall. If you've ever been in Arkansas, you know that the greens are as electric greens get. And so we have to be pretty careful in here because there's a lot of yellow tones hiding in these greens. Now, what most presets do is they just squash the greens, they get rid of them completely. In my opinion, I think that's really sad, just because I feel like green is a beautiful color and it's something that so many of our clients are really pursuing. And so again, I just laid this directly on top of it. Now, if that's all I did, I'm gonna show you one click, literally just one click. Now, to me, I will tell you that is a perfectly client-ready image. It's soft and beautiful. The greens are really pleasing. Again, now I'm gonna tweak my horizons just a little bit, and we're going to take this up or down depending kind of on how punchy we want that preset to look. Now, I chose to do the essential first in this video series ahead of all of the other presets, simply because it is the most simplistic. It's the one that I use and that we use across almost all of our wedding edits, simply because it's so maneuverable. And there's times, now I'll give you a sneak peek here, there's times here where applying maybe a soft color or even maybe a punchy preset would allow for something even a little bit more bold and dramatic. But for now, like I said, we're keeping it simple. We're gonna keep it at the essential and not jump ahead, okay? All right, so I really want in this image for that background to just sort of die off and allow us to really look at the subjects. And I really wanna make sure that we do this subject retoucher. Now, this AI tool is one of the more powerful ones that we have built in. And I'm gonna show you why. What actually happens in here is we mask off everything that is skin, eyes, or teeth related. And as this renders, obviously this is a large file shot on a 102 megapixel medium format camera. But as this renders out, what you're gonna see is that it's actually whitened teeth, whitened eyes, and softened skin tones. And it's done all of that with a single click, an actual single click. And so here we are. I didn't even adjust exposure, contrast, anything like that. This was, if you were keeping count, 3 clicks. 3 clicks to get from here, straight out of camera, to here. A nice, warm, beautiful cinematic image. To be honest with you, this one has won a handful of awards, and it was presented to the award, the awards exactly like this, without any additional work done. All right, we're jumping over to a lakeside image. Now, this image was originally delivered to my clients in black and white. I'll give you a sneak peek. It actually looked a lot like this when it was finished. But I was really interested in seeing what it would look like in a color form. And so I grabbed this for you guys. So you notice I just adjusted the horizon simply because I'll click back and show you. It was just shot kind of wonky. You can sort of see the lakeside there. There's actually a little buoy in the back we may need to get rid of. I don't know what this is. It looks like a giant fish. That would have been interesting. Anyway, we're gonna go ahead and tweak the horizon just so I can see what we're working with in a clean format right off the bat. All right, and we're clicking essential. All right, right off the bat, again, that nice sort of muted but dramatic tone. I'm actually gonna drop the exposure lines in here just a little bit and raise the highlights and add a little bit more drama. Those of you guys that are sort of more in the like moody, dark wedding photography mode, this preset pack will really speak to your soul because it allows you to keep a really clean black point, but really allow you to dial back and back and back and grab more and more mood, okay? So, like I said, I've been working over on the Loop Deck Live a little bit, but I'm gonna show you what I'm doing in here. I'm gonna raise those highlights up just a hair. I'm gonna raise the whites up just a hair. As it starts to become just a little too contrasty, I'm gonna drop that contrast and continue to drop down that exposure just a little bit. All right, here we are. So one click and then a few basic adjustments in here, and now we're gonna kick over into the AI toolkit. Again, I'm gonna use this background crusher in the full mode for this one because I really want those backgrounds to die off. I'm actually gonna do a background softener as well to make that water look a little bit sort of more milky and creamy in the background. And then just because I know we've done quite a bit of work to their skin tones by pulling the exposure back this much, I'm gonna lay that subject retoucher on, okay? And then last little thing here, we're gonna lay this Smart Warmer Plus and give it a nice warm hue. All right, so let's click over and see where we started. This was a straight out of camera image, and this is where we are with, I don't know, maybe what, 7 or 8 total clicks, something like that. Now, a lot of you guys may look at this and say it's a little too contrasty. Understand, I am intentionally exaggerating my edits a little bit here to try and make sure that we can really get across just how powerful these presets are. All right, we're jumping from the lake right into Dumbo, Brooklyn. This is one of my very favorite places to shoot in all of New York City. This is right underneath the Wash Bridge, right on the right across from Midtown Manhattan. And so we're looking kind of into Manhattan here. You can see it's a sunset session. If you've been paying attention, every single one of these lighting scenarios has been incredibly different. The lake was a sort of dreary, muted, rainy day. The Ivy Wall was a late afternoon. We started in California at sunset, and here we are about 3,000 miles away in New York, also at sunset, okay? We're gonna lay that essential preset right on top there, all right? So I'm gonna give you a before and after. This is it, just one click. One click, there it is, before and after. That's me not adjusting anything, changing anything. I am gonna dial up the contrast and dial back the exposure ever so slightly, but just because I want them to kind of pop a little bit. All right, I think we're there right off the bat. Let's do the lower background crusher for this one. It's going to be not quite as extreme. Also the background softener for this one. And I'm gonna sky crush in this one as well. Now there isn't any clouds or anything like that in this frame, but I wanna just peel back the exposure here and allow this sort of nice muted blue tone to come through. All right, so last thing here is I am gonna dial back this calm orange skin a little bit. I'm a little nervous that she's starting to look a little bit too orange for me. So there we are. I think that was what, 5 clicks or something like that. Let's go back to the beginning. There's straight out of camera. And then there is the edit about 5 clicks later, okay? So while we're in New York, let's head to the Jersey Shore. This is a blue hour image that was taken just after sunset. It was a really beautiful day. And so we're going to sort of dial in here, and if you've noticed, I actually just lost my my connection to my mouse, which is great timing, right? So what I'm actually going to do here that's kind of interesting is I'm going to actually select and copy from this last preset and take it over here and just lay that right on there, and we're going to look at what's happening. Even without having a mouse, you guys, I can adjust so much of this stuff with just my Loop Deck Live. It's either that or make you guys wait for me to take and charge this little dumb magic mouse thing. Can I be honest? Why do these things die so quickly? And can Apple not fix this? Anyway, regardless, we're going to do this on Loop Deck Live moving forward, okay? So I'm going to adjust and kind of like clean up the preset pack just a little bit using, like I said, the exposure and contrast predominantly, as well as dropping in the highlights. Perfect. And I'm going to develop and copy those settings right there, all right? Now, if you remember, we had the background crusher lower, the subject retoucher, and the sky crusher on this one. And I'm going to copy those, and I'm gonna take you all the way over to the Crystal Bridges Museum in Bentonville, Arkansas. This right here is probably one of the most iconic images that I've shot. I say iconic simply because it's gotten the most attention. I have a hard time believing that anything that I've shot is really all that iconic. But that being said, when I shot this image, I knew that this was going to require a lot out of my sensor to be able to really see in those low lights. And just any old, like very trendy preset would not cut it. It would crush the color far too much. And so we're going to do the exact same thing that we've been doing. I'm just going to paste the last preset directly on here, okay? So now I do have the ability on my Loupedeck Live to select different presets. I've kind of built all that in so that I can edit really quickly on here. But let me walk you through exactly what's happening. Again, I feel like this is maybe just a little bit too dark in the shadows and in the blacks, but we're gonna bring it up just a hair and sort of allow some breadth to come into that file. Right in there, and then we're gonna pull back the highlights just a hair. Now, if you guys can remember where we started and where we just ended, that's a pretty dramatic, like pretty severely dramatic shift. And I mean, something just outrageously cool about being able to see files shift and change that much in just a handful of clicks. So same wedding, actually, we're gonna move over here into this image. And the reason I picked this one is because this is going to be a full silhouette. Once I apply those presets and raise the highlights up just a hair, and we drop down the files and the shadows just a little bit, okay? So again, you guys, like, it's wild. It is absolutely crazy just how quickly this can happen, and just how few clicks you really need. So I'm realizing we're dragging on here, so let's knock these last two out quickly, okay? One of my very favorite images I've ever shot, just because the emotion was so real here. And so here's what we're gonna do. I'm going to apply the essential preset, just the essential straight away, the way it starts. And we're gonna do a calm orange skin on this, and then we're gonna do a smart warmer. And that is, if you've been counting, 3 clicks from the moment that we started. Now, sometimes these calm orange skin presets, at least on my computer, can take a few extra seconds. The reason why is because it's really scanning through to make sure that it is only doing that on the skin. And then we're going to apply this smart warmer. Now, if you're paying attention here, what's gonna happen at the back end of this is we're going to have an image that is truly deep and truly beautiful, but all the emotion is still caught right inside of it. I didn't add grain, I didn't add anything that's distracting. I really allowed the image to just sort of breathe. I may actually drop the black point back just a little bit and make that background just a little bit softer. But to be honest with you, I'm really happy with that right there. All right, so those of you guys that are true wedding photographers, you know that most presets die the moment that your lights come out. Now, I love this image so much because it is clearly a last image of the day. There's trash all over the floor. There's empty tables. This is their private last dance at the end of the day. And you know what? I think a lot of photographers would be really tempted to probably clean all that up and try and perfect it. I tend to sort of go the opposite and sort of say, you know what, let's allow the emotion to stay and let's let all of the imperfections to be a part of the story. And so what we're gonna do actually is we're going to show you, if I still have that preset pack, the edit copied all the way back from the Blue Hour photo. So those of you guys that are paying attention, we're gonna go back there real quick so you can see it. From this image, I have the preset copied, okay? A Blue Hour image on the water in New Jersey, and we're gonna take it all the way over here and we're going to paste it. And now we're working in artificial light, inside a ballroom, inside a museum, 1,500 miles away, at night, 1 click. That was just a copy and paste edit. Now, again, I'm going to lay that calm orange skin on there and dial back the color just a hair. I think it's important that we make sure that we don't allow the orange tones that we love from our work to always spill over into skin tones. And then I am gonna dial back the warmth just a hair, and you'll see, I mean, I'm doing it like incrementally. I'm just making those lights just a little bit wider. And I'm gonna drop the total exposure and just allow the highlights to kind of do the speaking here. So again, if you've been counting, I just pasted and added maybe 2 or 3 total tweaks to that entire image. So you guys, that's it. That's 9 images shot in different lighting situations all over the country, utilizing different techniques, different ideas, off-camera flash, natural light, shade, direct sun, blue hour, golden hour, all of those things using one preset. Just the MWB essential preset right out of the Abide pack, and then stacking with that recipes of our AI tools to just bring life and breath into your images. If you still feel like you're over editing to try and bring depth out of your image, I would challenge you guys. jump on this Abide pack and then hit us in the DM, either me or Jared. Allow us to kind of walk you through how we're utilizing this stuff so that the artistry in your work, the creativity that you're striving so hard to reach is brought to life in your images, instead of you trying to just fix bad behavior with bad edits. Let us come aside you and show you what good can look like on your images, because I promise the art is already there. All right, that's all I got. Hey, check back next time. We're gonna be walking through the soft color preset, which is actually personally my favorite of the entire set, even though if you were listening earlier, you know that I said that the Essential is the one that I use the most. Soft color is my favorite. I can't wait for you to see that. Check in soon. Thank you guys.